Hello, Heights family and friends. I'm Cheryl, and I have a story to share with you today. Will you lean in and listen up for a few minutes? I sure hope so. Here we go. She never thought it would last this long, and she remembers back to the very beginning, or she tries to remember what life was like at that point. She's a woman, and most women have this situation, but it doesn't last constantly. For her, she has been living with or trying to live with this issue for 12 long years. Now, she thinks about all the stigma that has come with it. Not only is she troubled physically, but she knows how in Leviticus, the 15th chapter, the law provides instruction on how to deal with someone who is unclean. They can't be touched during this time. They can't touch another. And so now for 12 long years, her life has been without much interaction. Oh, she does remember what it felt like to be able to enjoy others, to be in their company, how it felt to be strong, but today she feels weak. She's tried everything. Every medical remedy that she's been told about, it has not worked. She is tired. Today, actually, she is literally sick and tired of it all. She's taken all of her means, all of her financials, of the things that she was hoping for doctors to help. She's spent it all. And she remains in this very same place with this issue that she has had for 12 long years. Now, we aren't sure how she heard about it, who she heard it from, but somehow she heard that there was a man named Jesus, and he was from Galilee. Not a place where folks were known for doing anything very spectacular, but she thinks, what do I have to lose? And so she's determined. I'm going out there, she thinks. I don't want to bring any challenge to others. She knew if she got in the crowd just by rubbing shoulders or bumping up against someone that she could cause them trouble, meaning that she could cause them to be considered unclean also. But she's desperate. She has tried it all. And as weak as she was, if this didn't bring results that she needed, she might not make it much longer. So she's made up her mind. She musters up all the strength that she can, and she walks out her door. And as she approaches the crowd, she takes a deep breath and she thinks to herself, here I go. And she begins to push through the crowd, one person at a time. Moving through the crowd, it's tight and it's congested, and she hopes that she's moving in the direction of the teacher. Honestly, the crowd's so tight that it's hard to tell if she's going the right way, but she is pushed through, and then she sees him. And as she sees Jesus, she saw a man fall at his feet and says to him, will you come to my house? My 12-year-old daughter is sick and dying. And she realizes, I've been sick for as long as this young girl has been alive. She thinks to herself, I've got to touch him. He's going to walk away. This is my one and only chance. And so she allows her faith to take a risk. It propels her forward, pushing back her feelings. She touches him. She reaches out and she touches the hem of his garment. And as she does, he knew she touched him. You see, he felt healing power and strength leave his being. And he asked, who touched me? You see, the men that he traveled with said, what do you mean, who touched you? Everyone is pushing in. We're doing our best to keep this stampede of a crowd at bay. Personally, I think he already knew who touched him. He's the Son of God after all. But what he wanted others to know was who touched him, because this woman is no longer unclean. And it's in this very moment that the woman in our story begins to feel the healing virtue. It flows through her, and her issue begins to stop, and she feels strength and energy return to her being, and she begins to tremble. She's excited about what's going on physically, but she didn't want to be called out. She didn't want to create a public display, but Jesus knew it was necessary for her faith and the attitude of others towards her. She was healed. She was changed. She received healing, and from this point forward, her life would look extremely different than it had in the past 12 years. Well, this miraculous story is found in 3 of the Gospels, Matthew 9, Mark 5, and Luke 8. And here are some important principles and concepts for us to consider. Sometimes your health and wholeness might be on the other side of complete desperation. And I want to encourage you today, my friends, if you are in a desperate place, take the action that this woman took and seek out the miracle worker. Jesus is his name. Sometimes the touch and the miracle that you need come as a result of your obedience and courage to push through. This woman, she pushed through the crowd, even though she knew that she could cause jeopardy and cause the others around her to be unclean. But sometimes you may have to leave everything that's safe, or you may have to leave everything that culture says is safe and move towards your healing and a life of wholeness. Jesus will meet you there. Sometimes you may think that you are hoping for it to be a private and silent happening, but if Jesus calls attention to you, I want you to know that you can rest assured that he is doing a deeper work than you were even asking for. You see, Jesus drew attention to the action of this woman so that from the moment forward, she wouldn't be considered unclean. He knew that she not only needed a physical healing, but she needed a restoration of relationships and community. You can count on Jesus to do a complete work, even when you may not realize the complete miracle that you need. So I'd like to ask a question today. Do you have an issue that you're dealing with? Do you have a need? Maybe there are some things that you are dealing with that have lasted for so long in your life that you can't remember life without them. But my friends, here's a truth. Faith and seeing the miraculous often requires taking risk. This woman, she took a great risk. So the question for us today, is there a risk that you need to take? Now, I know I've taken some creative license, but I haven't changed the truths of the story, and I hope that this has encouraged you today. Dear friends, Jesus, the Son of God, is the miracle worker. Be encouraged. Blessings, everyone.